The idea of a God of judgment, one who would hold us to account for how we've lived our lives, is increasingly unpalatable to many of us in our society, and not unreasonably or unsurprisingly in some ways, given that, for example, probably all of us or most of us have at least seen or heard about kind of angry Christians or churches who would, in talking about judgment or hell, would basically try and scare people into living apparently better lives or becoming a person of faith even. We can also feel, well, how could God judge someone who's lived a really good, moral, upstanding, generous life, especially if that person's us or someone dear to us? And thirdly, we can also wonder, why would God forgive and not judge someone that's lived a really bad life? But have you ever wondered why the whole issue of a God who judges is so particularly difficult and unpalatable for us? Because I wonder whether our cultural location at this time of history is at least part of the story, because up until the Enlightenment and its effects on our history, on our society over the last 50 to 100 years, most people had no problem with believing in the idea of a God who judges. And in fact, many people around the world still do believe in a God who judges. You see, it's in places like southwest London where I guess we're kind of immune, to an extent at least, from some of the worst horrors and excesses of human evil and injustice that actually are seen around the world. And I wonder, if we did live in other parts of the world which do tragically see far, far more evil and injustice than we do, whether then we'd be rather more keen. We might even need, as it were, a God who does judge injustice and evil. So the question I want to ask is it really true that a God of love would never be a God of judgment? Would a loving God really never get angry? See, the claim of Christianity is that God's anger towards evil and injustice flows directly from, it's a result of, his love and devotion to and care for the human race. And final question perhaps, if he exists, what kind of God would he be if he was indifferent in any way towards evil and injustice?